Some of y'all are very ignorant. I'm not gonna say dumb out of respect, but they are ignorant, or you are not educated.
Watching so many Asian Americans show their entire anti-Black backside in videos and comment sections regarding the acquittal of Rick Chow and the call to boycott Asian businesses, and now the cross burning in Chicago, has been a masterclass in how racism is narcissistic abuse. Because so many rice crackers are out here yelling and screaming as though Black people somehow did something to us, when all they want is to be left alone.
Asians are getting mad at Black people because Black people don't want to support their businesses anymore, and it's very ridiculous. Instead of getting mad at us, do better. Anytime I see a video of a Black person going to an Asian business, there's always some racism, majority of the time. I'm not saying all of them are racist, but majority of them are racist. Why are you guys mad at us? Why don't y'all support each other? Sure, we shouldn't divide ourselves. Oh, why are we dividing ourselves? But there's only so much us Black people could do when y'all don't like us. For literally exist. I saw this person saying Black people don't like Asians. Black people being glazing Asians. Y'all are the ones that be worshiping the white people and start hating us for no reason.
To the Asian community, now you understand that racists don't pay your bills. A lot of you guys are coming out and saying, why hold us accountable for one person? No, it's not just that. We have been facing racism from the Asian community for quite some times. Even though everybody always forgive and go back to the nail salon or go back to ordering food or whatever, we have faced numerous counter with you guys. And suddenly we decided that we are going to treat you like the way you treat us.
So first of all, Rick Chow was acquitted. I don't know how anybody with a shred of intellectual honesty or morals can be at peace with that, but Rick Chow was acquitted. So for you to be making videos or going into Black people's comment sections arguing as if they're the problem and you're somehow the victim because you feel unpopular in this moment because Rick Chow was acquitted is narcissism at best and malicious hatred at worst. As for the boycotts, Asian Americans are not entitled to Black people's money, plain and simple. Business 101, provide quality goods, quality service, and treat your customers with respect. But if you've made a habit of providing subpar goods and subpar service and disrespecting your customers, rest assured, your business is not being judged on the basis of one Rick Chow. Your business is being judged for what it is. If you go into a Black neighborhood and open a business and you've made a habit of treating Black customers like they're the problem, pitching a fit and playing victim when your Black customers say, "We won't be bothering you anymore," is narcissistic abuse. And finally, the cross burning. For the past 18 months, Black Americans have been living under an administration that has been overtly organizing for decades to do everything it can to drag the country back to Jim Crow. And the sick plot twist and the fuckery that was passing the Hart-Celler Act a year after the Civil Rights Act and making Asian Americans the new window dressing on the myth of the American dream is that in the past week, it was Asian Americans who actually did it. The acquittal of Rick Chow brings us back to 1991 and the killing of Latasha Harlins, and the cross burning in broad daylight in Chicago brings us right back to Jim Crow. And the thing is, Black Americans know who holds systemic power. Black Americans know better than anybody else what it is to never be viewed as an individual and to be condemned as a community for the actions of a few. So they also don't need to be told not to do that to other people. Black Americans are not judging Asian Americans on the basis of one Rick Chow or whoever burned the cross. They are simply responding to over 60 years of our community pushing them away with our escalating anti-Black antics. And if you don't like the way that feels, rather than treating Black people like they're the problem, we have to start by rooting out the infestation of anti-Blackness in our community. And if you're not willing to do that, the very least you can do is leave Black people alone and stop asking them to be an audience for your anti-Blackness.
We are going to hold our money from you. I've always say racism does not pay your bills, so stop being racist. If you know that you have a couple people out here that have businesses and you are out here taking it lightly and not trying to support others and try to disrespect people and trying to do whatever you can, there's countless of time that I have been discriminated against within the Asian community. Even though we don't come out and say something, but there are people Black people that actually go through it. It just shouldn't have to take a life for you guys to understand that we are serious. Do you understand me? It's been countless of time where we have been facing discrimination from the Asian community, and we still love you guys. We still support you guys. We still showed up. But this time, what we are saying, this young man lost his life behind something silly. A mother lose a son lost his life. He was only 14 years old. And yes, some of you guys may never understand, but this is bigger. This is way bigger than everything. What we're saying, racism is what we need to stop. We need y'all to stop it. We need to go to nail salon and not have you talking about how much people are doing certain things. We need to be able to sit in the nail salon, not have you talking about us in your language, not having you yelling at us or treating us like we're not going to pay, because some of us, we're very respectful to you guys. We're very respectful to when we come in your nail salon, we make prices and we tell you, you made the prices, we come up, we agree with you. But what we notice is like you guys are being so rude. Sometimes we go to the store, you guys follow us around thinking that we're going to take something from your store. And honestly, truth be told, there's countless of people of other race who actually come and take stuff from your store, but because you guys are so busy trying to think that black people is the only one who take things, black people is the only one who actually are, no, you guys are wrong. And this is how we are saying to you that we are not going to take it anymore. We are not going to take it anymore. We are going to take what hurt you and we're going to use it. And what hurt you is our money. We're not going to come in your store and spend it with you. We're not going to order Chinese food. We're not going to go to the nail salon. We're not going to do any of the things. We're not ordering from your products. We're not ordering. Honestly, I'm in Brooklyn and there's a place that I'm going right there is owned by a Mexican. And I used to go. I'm not going to any of these places anymore. I'm going to shop black owned business. And this is what we are saying. We're saying that this community is doing us too wrong and we decided to stop. And I don't care. Enough is enough. It doesn't matter anymore. We don't want to be racist. We're not trying to be racist. It's not about racism. This is bigger than racism. It's bigger. It's about you guys keep being racist towards us and we need it to stop. We are going to stick with black people, order from them, and go through it, because we cannot go through any more racism from you guys. It's a new year and we have to stand for something. If we don't stand for nothing, we have to stand for something. We can't have you guys always thinking that you can bully us and do all of these things and think that we're going to be okay with it, because you guys have done so much to black people and we took it. Now it's time for us to tell you that, hey, thanks for all the time that you were disrespecting us while we were paying for you to disrespect us. Now we're up on to the next level. We're going to go support each other. What's the problem with that? Why are you guys mad? Why are you guys mad? Because we're going to support each other now? No, get together and clean up this racism from your community. That's what you guys gonna need to. Because if you come to the state like everybody else, like my parents said, bring me here. What we need to do is not discriminate. We need to get together and we need to make things happen. Not trying to discriminate against anybody, thinking that you're on the other side, thinking that you're Caucasian when you're definitely not. If you looked in the mirror, you're not Caucasian. You are Asian, and you have to respect it and own that. And then guess what? Go with the people who support you the most. Black people support you guys the most. Not white, black.
If you are Asian and you feel terrible about the lack of justice done in the Rick Chow case, I want you to open up a browser window and type in black-owned businesses and then the name of your town. We live in America under capitalism. Our money is going to talk louder than our vote does, or our words. And if you know that any business, local or mega corporation, has done black people dirty, do not spend your money there. I have not set foot in a Target for years. Sometimes I go in there to take up their air conditioning and not spend any money. Sorry. Go try a black-owned restaurant. I promise it's delicious. Find a black-owned nail salon. Don't go in there expecting mega cheap prices, because a lot of these small business owners are navigating generational economic oppression in order to open their businesses. But like I said, what you get can be really, really good and worth it. Before you go spending your money at like an Asian store or other non-black business, you can see in the comments, like in their Google reviews, if they have multiple people who have experienced racism there. If it happens more than a couple times, then maybe don't shop there.
I am noticing white people join this conversation. And by conversation, I mean the conversation that my community and the black community are having right now in regards to what happened to Cyrus and how Cyrus was murdered by someone in my community. And I just want to say, I am happy that y'all are on the right side of history, because great. But also, I am not willing to let y'all join this conversation and do what y'all did during the Stop Asian Hate thing. Because the truth of the matter is, what happened during Stop Asian Hate was that the majority of the people who were harming my community were white people. And y'all chose to scapegoat the black people. Y'all did. And created tension between my community and the black community. And now you're hopping on to this conversation, this issue that your community created, by the way. Your community created this fucking system. And you have the nerve to come into this conversation and try to scapegoat Asian people, try to make it seem like it's all of us who harm. When the reality is the majority of the people in your community are genocidal maniacs.
I have seen more Asian Americans being upset at the fact that Black Americans are threatening to boycott Asian businesses than I have seen Asian Americans speaking out against the murder of Cyrus Carmick Belton.
I agree. A lot of people like myself talked about the boycott instead of what actually happened. I would like to apologize for that because that came from a place of hurt. Instead of just believing TikTok news, I did do my own research and watch the whole court proceedings. I did, in fact, take notes. So here are the facts that people don't talk about because they want you to believe one side of the story. Cyrus Carmick Belton was carrying a loaded semi-automatic pistol illegally. He was also posting about owning this pistol. Andy, Rick Chow's son, claimed to see the pistol when Cyrus was in the store with his bag. He also stated that Cyrus looked really suspicious, shoving water bottles in his bag before taking them out. Along with that, a lot of the witness statements can't be proven to be true because they changed their statement from when they were talking to the police from when they were under oath in court. One witness claimed that she didn't see anything that happened until she was under oath, and she gave specific details that she did not see because she claimed to not have seen them when questioned by the police. In his closing statement, Sean Kent, Rick Chow's lawyer, claimed that Andy chased Cyrus down 130 yards. Cyrus fell to the ground and his gun fell out of his pocket. Rick Chow saw Cyrus scrambling to get up, and he believed that Cyrus was going to pick up the gun and point it at Andy. Since there was no cameras around, Andy was the only eyewitness there. So yes, there is the argument for self-defense because Rick Chow did believe that Cyrus was going to pick up the gun and shoot his son. These are all the reasons to why Rick Chow was found innocent in this murder, because he didn't conspire to murder Cyrus. He didn't pre-plan this. This was not a predisposition plan. He didn't plan to have Cyrus walk into the store and was like, I'm gonna shoot him. Honestly, everything is still up to interpretation. Murder in South Carolina means that you have the intent to kill, and he did not have the intent to kill. Sean Kent was able to prove that. Also, Sean Kent was a really good lawyer, all things considered. The way he spoke was extremely well, and I did listen to his closing argument, which I feel like it really is persuasive. You can make your own decision if you think Rick Chow was innocent or not. In my opinion, I don't think I can make that decision on whether he was innocent or not. I don't think that anyone that killed anyone would ever be innocent. And my heart does go out to Cyrus and his family, because no one should ever have to go through that. It doesn't matter if they were holding an illegal firearm or etc. I'm really sorry for what happened, and I hope his family finds peace and justice.
An Asian content creator got on this here internet wearing what can only be described as a Black American starter kit and decided to tell Black people that our money doesn't matter. Okay. According to him, Black people need Asian-owned businesses more than Asian-owned businesses need Black people. A boycott wouldn't move anything. The loss wouldn't register. Our dollars don't count. Now, this might just be me, but if I genuinely believed that somebody's money didn't matter, I don't think I'd spend my afternoon making a video about it. So naturally, I went looking at the history, because this conversation isn't really about just one video, right? The very second that Black people start talking economics, where our money goes, who profits from it, who builds wealth off our communities, people get uncomfortable. That same discomfort doesn't appear when other groups do the same thing. Every immigrant community that's come to this country has done it. Jewish, Chinese, Korean, Italian, Indian, Armenian, pooling resources, building businesses, keeping their money inside their communities for as long as possible. Nobody finds that controversial, though. But what they fail to recognize is that we understood the same thing. We had to. After slavery, Black communities built banks, hospitals, insurance companies, schools, newspapers, whole business districts. The Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma had 191 businesses. It had 2 schools, a hospital, and a library, all by 1921. They called it Black Wall Street. But on May 31st, 1921, a white mob attacked it. 2 days of looting, burning, and shooting. But it's us, right? We're the problem. 35 square blocks destroyed. More than 1,200 Black homes, businesses, schools, and churches, y'all, burned to the ground. World War I era planes dropped bombs from the sky on the Greenwood neighborhood. The official death toll was 36. But we know the estimates were around 300 Black people killed, murdered. The survivors were rounded up and held in internment camps in their own city. They were issued identification cards and couldn't leave without permission from a white supervisor. Insurance companies refused every claim. They had something called a riot clause. Not a single Black resident ever received financial assistance to rebuild. So when somebody gets on the internet and tells Black people that our money doesn't matter, I automatically think they're a dumbass. A racist dumbass. Corporations spend billions chasing Black consumers. Political campaigns spend millions trying to reach Black voters. Entire industries are built around marketing to Black communities. Our money matters. It mattered enough to burn a city for it in 1921. It mattered enough to redline neighborhoods for the next 50 years. It matters enough that every quarter, somebody's profit and loss statement depends on us showing up. Apparently our money matters right up until we start talking about where we want to spend it. Then all of a sudden it doesn't. Right? Nobody's entitled to Black customers. We spend our money where we want. That's how markets work. That's how capitalism works. That's how every other community inside this country operates. The fact that this becomes a controversy every time Black people say it out loud tells me that this was never about money. It was about leverage. And this country has been comfortable with Black spending. It's Black leverage that's always made them nervous. But if you know anything about me, you know I love a good challenge. Shop Black. Spend with your people. I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. We gonna show you better than we can tell you. Invest in Black businesses. Build the community. Y'all, we are overdue.
So what do y'all think about this? Here we go, another Asian telling y'all that y'all can't do without them. And it's amazing to me how the women get on this app and be so quick to say what they ain't gonna do and what they don't need and who they gonna boycott, when you sitting up here with everything on that they produce. You got the hair on, you got the weave on, the clothes, designer clothes, everything he said you got. So what you gonna do? It's kind of unbelievable. And I tell you something else, I've been seeing videos where people have been lately really trying to patronize in the Black community. And what happens? One girl said, and this is why I stopped with the Black nail technicians, and I had thought about that thing. A lot of Black nail technicians, when you go to them and your nails are already done, they don't want to do your nails. They say they don't work over anybody else's work, and you have to go get them taken off. They don't have the service of taking off nails or soaking them off, so you still have to go to an Asian for them to take your nails off. And that's when an Asian told me I was messing my nail bed up because I kept on getting my nails taken off and going to get them redone, a fresh set every time. It's like you destroying your nail bed. I was like, okay. Then you hear another girl on here, she said she patronized with a Black establishment the other day, and when she came in, she asked for a certain thing, they didn't have it. And she was like, what do you suggest? And they was like, what do you want? They just had a bad attitude. And she was finna give them a good review, and then she changed it because she's like, they treated her like trash. So what are you doing? I'll tell you something else. Every time I go into a hair supply store, and I go to the same one all the time, they are so nice to me. I get a discount. And then every once in a while, they have a product in there and say, try this and see if you like it. How many times have you went to your Black nail technician or your Black salon person that does your hair, your Black beautician, and they have actually did something like your birthday come up, and they have actually given you something for your birthday? Or how else can I say this? Or vice versa. How many times do you get your hair done and you know your beautician does a good job and you don't even tip them? I'm just saying, we just out of order in all kind of ways, and we got a lot of work to do. You have to be a certain type of way if you're going to own a business and you want people to come and shop with you, because now they just coming to shop with you because of this boycotting thing. But if they really had a choice and this never would have happened, guess what? They would have never came to your store, because you don't treat them with respect. You don't treat them with respect. And then the good people that do your services, you don't tip them. You understand me? I wouldn't dare not tip my beautician, wouldn't dare not tip my nail tech, because I appreciate the service they give me.
Guys, so I am wholeheartedly participating in the Asian American boycott, and I'm going to share with you why. Right? A lot of people are conflating this current Black resentment with the situation in South Carolina, but the resentment between Black and Asian Americans has been something that has been ongoing for many decades, right? And when I say Asian American, right now, you know, the focus is on the Koreans, Chinese, Vietnamese, or whatever, but all of them, really. Arabs, okay, Indians, they all have worked in tandem to be complicit in white supremacy and systemic racism, and willingly be a buffer, right? Now, I'm reading this book called The People's History of America by Howard Zinn, and I'm on chapter 5. This is a really dense, intense book, right? And one thing that they talk about in these early chapters is how, like, when America was in its very beginning stages before it was America, right? How a lot of times the white Europeans that were here as indentured servants would be more aligned with, you know, African slaves, the people who were enslaved from Africa, than they would with the white elites, right? And to keep them from unifying, right, as a people with a common thread of oppression, what they started doing was realizing, hey, we can't let these people get up all together on us. We can't let them unite, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give them a few crumbs, right? We're going to give Black people nothing because we need them to be our slaves. Nobody else is physically fit or mentally capable to be a slave, right? So for the other people, we're gonna have them be slaves too, but in a different sort of way. So we're gonna kind of throw them some more cookies, give them a little sense of power and things like that. So that way they could be a little bit more on the side of us, the elites, versus the side of the Black and the indigenous people, right? So that situation can be applied because a lot of Asians like to believe this model minority myth, okay? I'm not going to say all I want to say. I've seen them up close and personal, how the Indians live, the Chinese dealing with them business-wise. Unscrupulous, really. Dirty and unscrupulous. I didn't say what I want to say. But yeah, this oh, we work harder, we stick together, that's a quarter of the truth, right? Because nobody in this world, trust me, has worked harder than Black people, okay? And yeah, and a lot of people, Black people, are saying, oh, you can't do this to them because that links all Asians, we're mimicking the behavior of their oppressor. Oh, no, we're not. We're not committing genocide. We're not flooding their communities with drugs and opium and getting them all drugged up so they could be incapacitated, right? We're not sending the CIA to topple their governments and tackle democracy. We're not dropping a nuclear bomb on them. We're not putting them in internment camps and concentration camps. We're not doing that. We're just simply saying, hey, right? And then too, another thing that gets me is that Asians, they like to pretend like they're so neutral, right? And a part of that is appeasement to white people, because like someone else said, a lot of them are the white people's lapdogs, right? But now I'm seeing videos on TikTok, right? They are mocking us. They are actually, I've seen videos, they're taking videos of Black people in their establishments today and this week saying like, hey, oh, you said you was going to boycott us, y'all still here, right? Then the situation with the affirmative actions in the schools and things like that, this is long overdue. They are the white people's lapdogs. I personally, like, people like, oh, this Asian person did something nice for me. One or two is anecdotal evidence, right? Like, I have a couple of people of color as my friends. I have that have been nice to me. I have some white friends, but just because a few white people or a few people have done or been, you know, nice towards me or whatever, that doesn't absolve the grand scheme of things. That didn't absolve me from systemic racism and disenfranchisement as a Black woman. That didn't raise my pay at work, right? That didn't get me off the margins of society because a few people were good. So yeah, all of them, for the most part, 99% of them, right? So yeah, I'm not happy with the state of society. I'm not happy with the fact that, you know, I don't really feel like in mass Black people have allies. I feel like everyone else besides Black people are complicit, right, in the system, are complicit in racism, are complicit in anti-Blackness, are complicit in white supremacy. And I have no qualms. Like, listen, I do my own nails, okay? I make my own pho. I'm learning how to make ramen. I do my own toes. Okay, I don't need them to do my hair. I don't wear a weave. Okay, I don't need them for anything. And that's not being too like that way. Oh, this way to listen. We're not talking about that. We talk about y'all in America. Okay, I remember at first I was kind of like thinking about the Target boycott, like, I don't know about that. And then when I start seeing them stores empty, I'm like, okay, they own something. So guess what? I used to actually go to Target every week. You spend $200-$300. Target used to be my preferential store. I haven't been there except for like once because it was the most accessible for something to me in almost 2 years, right? So listen, people might not catch on at first, but guess what? They'll catch on. They'll catch on, and y'all gonna be eating your words. I'm not fucking around with people. This is not the time to be to play reindeer games, right? Especially in this the world and the things happening at large. It's so much happening in the world, but everyone want to get together and be anti-black. Imagine that. You're not mad at data centers. You're not mad at billionaires. You're not mad at AI. You're mad at black people. The jokes write themselves.
Boycotting the Asian community. Now, before the black community does that, I need you to do yourself a favor and listen to this video, because us talking about it is one thing, but hearing it directly from somebody in the community will give you some insight into what is said and done in the homes, the things that we can't see or hear. When you're done listening, drop in the comments what you believe. Boycott, band together and unite, ban altogether.
Be honest about acknowledging anti-blackness among Asian Americans, especially when the call was coming from my own house, so here we go. I first became aware of my mom's anti-blackness when I started kindergarten, and it mostly centered around avoiding interactions with black people and not allowing me to be exposed to anything that she considered black culture. So if we were walking and she saw a black person, she would pull me closer to her. If we were in the car in a parking lot and saw a black person in the parking lot, she would make a point to lock the doors, and I wasn't allowed to listen to rap or Michael Jackson or Tina Turner. And she was hypocritical about that, because I wasn't allowed to listen to Cyndi Lauper or Madonna either. She would call it trash music and say that it was going to be a bad influence, but if it was a white artist, it was not racialized. It was only when it was black artists that it was racialized. And another thing that I think is kind of typical is, as a musician, there were a lot of black artists whom she respected and enjoyed, but she would always say that one black artist is the exception, the rest are bad influences. When I went to school, if I came home and said I made a friend, her first question would be white or black. And that drove me nuts, because in preschool, I dealt with a lot of bullying and discrimination because of being Asian, so it didn't make sense to me that she wanted me to turn around and do that very same thing to my black classmates, whom she knew nothing about, on the basis of their skin color. And when I wouldn't stay away from my black friends, she would resort to making up justifications as to why it was harmful for me. She would say they're going to hurt me and they're going to be a bad influence because they fight and they swear and they're not good students. And of course, none of that was true. And in my household, it was not physically or emotionally safe to voice your opinions, but about that I would, because it literally angered me. And then she would resort to physical violence. And that sealed the deal in my mind that prejudice is purely irrational, because none of her claims had any basis in reality, and that's why she had to resort to physical force. Unfortunately, I think that when parents resort to intimidation and violence to instill prejudice in their children, a lot of times it works. But I was very lucky, because the principal of my elementary school was a black woman who implemented a program called Students Educating Each Other About Discrimination. And that wasn't centered on racial discrimination, it was about discrimination in general. But in that program, we learned to have discussions about discrimination and to identify it and disrupt it. Which at that age just means if you witness discrimination, say it's discrimination and articulate how you know that it's discrimination. So from learning that very powerful tool at school, I was able to identify that what my mom was doing at home was wrong. Additionally, the principal was a black woman, so I had a black woman in a position of leadership as a role model. And in my school district, she wasn't a token. They really valued black leadership, from teachers to administration, guidance counselors, all the way up to superintendents. And so I was surrounded by black role models who made me see that reality did not line up with what my mom was trying to teach me. The straw that broke the camel's back was sometime around the ages of between 7 and 9. I was planning a birthday party and I told my mom that I want to invite my friend Keisha, which I knew was going to be an issue, but I thought I would try. And she said no, and I said fine, then I don't want to have a birthday party, and she made me have the birthday party. So now that felt like that's not only cruel to me, but that's cruel to my friend Keisha, whom you don't even know because you refused to meet her. Shortly after that, we were walking in the mall, and my mom did this thing that she often did, which is she sees black people minding their own business, and under her breath, she mumbles a derogatory term in Chinese for black people. And I remember I pulled back on her hand and faced her, and I said, they are not doing anything. You don't know them. The next time you do that, I am going to go up to them and I'm going to tell them what you said. And believe it or not, the fear of exposure by me actually made her tone it down, and she stopped doing that in public. Fortunately, my mom did not live and die that way. In later years, she came around to seeing and later openly admitting how wrong she was. In her older age, one of her best friends really was black, and my mom admitted to her friend what her previous attitudes had been and why. And from those conversations, I was able to gain some insight as to what my mom's motivation was for her anti-blackness. Because I think most people feel, since Asian Americans also are harmed by white supremacy, how does it make any sense for Asian Americans to be anti-black? My mom spent most of her young life in Hong Kong when it was under British occupation, and then in the 1950s, she came to the United States when she was 16 years old. Generations before my mom, her family had been living in and doing business around Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Macau, which were French, British, and Portuguese occupied areas. So she was heavily indoctrinated into anti-blackness in Hong Kong, where she had no exposure to black people that would have shown her.
The worst thing that Asian fella did was to make a threat against the black communities. A $1.6 trillion industry, especially in black communities alone, where most of the Asian stores, nail shops, beauty supply stores are highly dependent upon the black dollar. So if you take away those, those stores will run out of business within 3 weeks. That's where it starts. And then it's going to go up to where the supply chain is, where they're getting the goods from. That's going to be highly affected. But in order for this to be a good effect on the black Americans, we must build our own manufacturing shops right here in America. Right here. Bye.
So apparently, after all this drama of Asians and black Americans and the boycott, now Asians have finally found something to say. And if you have not been watching the videos on these and maybe you're clueless about what is happening, I'll brief you shortly. Now, happens that in 1991 there was a young lady, a young child, let me not call that a lady because that is a child, literally a 15-year-old child, that was shot by an Asian shopkeeper because he thought that this child had stolen some juice from his shop. You know, the child put the juice in the bag, and this shopkeeper thought that the child had stolen the bottle of juice. So he ran after her and shot her dead. Now, in like 2 years ago, there was another similar story. A 14-year-old child, a boy, a black boy for this case, and the other girl was also black, remember that? And now for the past 2 years, the last 2 years, a black 14-year-old boy goes to an Asian store, and this Asian shopkeeper thinks that the boy has stolen 4 bottles of water. And when the boy gets out of the shop, there's a video that I've done in the past. If you have not watched it and maybe you would want to see exactly how it happened, go to my videos, find the story talking about the Asian boy that was shot dead. Find it, you will see the footage of whatever happened on that day. The boy walked out of that store calmly, and this Asian shopkeeper and his son, they ran after him and they think that he has stolen 4 bottles of water, and what they decide to do as adults, as the people that we think are responsible. You know, sometimes I say maturity doesn't come with age. Yeah, there are very many older people that behave some way that you just be shocked at the kind of decisions that they make. So they decide that the best thing to do at that point is to shoot at this kid, and they shoot him in the back and he dies. Yeah. Now, other than that, those are not the only 2 stories. There are many other stories that you can research on and find. There's also another case where Black people have always been complaining about Asian stores and Asian people who are in business in such a way that these people are always very disrespectful of Black people. They look at them a certain way. You know, they're following them around in the shops when they're trying to purchase their stuff. You know, you cannot just have the peace. You know, you're not trusted. So anytime that you move on those aisles, someone is watching you, someone is busy on your case, you know, trying to look at exactly what you're doing, because they do not trust you. They think that you are there to steal, that you are there because you cannot afford whatever it is that you're you know, you want to buy. I have seen a case of a Nike store, by the way, where people are being followed. There's a child, a teenager, who was being followed around in the shop, and you know, they thought that this child cannot afford the shoe that they had. They accused the child and finally discovered that they had a receipt, and that was really bad. I think the mother sued the Nike shop, and I don't know what happened after that, but I'm just trying to help you know the kind of disrespect that we're talking about. People looking at Black people as though they cannot afford the things that they are looking out for. People looking at them as if all that they can do is steal. People following them around as if they are, you know, they are doing some kind of shady deals. Yeah. And that is very disrespectful for Black people, and especially for someone that is supporting your business. People that do not have a problem of spending. I have said it time and again that if there are people that can really be taken advantage of, it's Black people, because Black people do not mind about spending. They don't care about how much it costs, as long as they want it and it will make them happy and they feel that the purchase is worth it, they will buy it. Yeah, that is who they are. Look at the kind of clothes that they wear. Look at the shoes that they like. For example, we're talking about Nikes, original Nikes. They will buy those things because they love themselves enough to want to appreciate whatever they do. And for that reason, these are not the kind of customers that you want to lose. These are not the clients that you want to play around with, because now if you play around, and Black people, in as much as they're nice and all those things that I have mentioned, they're also very assertive people. When they decide that they're not going to do something, they make a decision and they live by it, they die by it. Now recently they made a point and said, you know what, they are threatening to boycott Asian businesses because of the kind of disrespect that these people have towards Black people. Asians did not take that seriously. They did not come out to like ask for forgiveness and, you know, like do something that would at least make Black people to cool down and calm down and forgive them. In fact, there was an Asian man, sorry white people, there was an Asian man that came out and said, you know what, I'm daring you to boycott the businesses. In his mind, thinking that Black people are not capable of doing that, because in his mind he thinks Black people really need the Asian stores and they cannot do without them. Now, when Black people heard of this and they shared this video across their social media platforms and they all got a glimpse of what is happening, they decided to actualize it. They boycotted the Asian businesses, and the boycott is still on as we speak now. There are many Black people that are still going to those shops, not because they do not want to boycott, but because not all Black people are on here, on TikTok, on YouTube, watching these kind of videos. You know, there are people that do not have the information that is what is happening to the Black people, and this is the decision that Black people have made. Yeah, so but information will reach them in due course. It will reach them. So that is what is happening now. After the boycott, these people have started losing their Black dollar. And of course, what did you expect that was going to happen? Now, the black dollar is not just something you ignore. It's a lot of money that you're losing. Now, these people are coming out to talk about, they are regretting, they are calling out their own right now. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing anymore because they're not speaking the same voice, yeah? There are those that are coming out to call out the people that said things, especially the Asian man that dared black people to boycott the businesses and spoke all manner of, crap that you can think of. They're now calling them out. That they're trying to do all manner of things that they were supposed to do before black people actually made the decision to boycott. Yeah. They know the right thing to do, but they have made sure that they don't do it in good time. Black people have said they're not lifting the ban. They're not lifting the boycott. They're still going on with it until these people learn a lesson. And to make it even more interesting is that black people, some of them are actually not talking about boycotting. They're talking about a total ban on Asian stores. And when we're talking about Asian stores, we're not talking about all Asians. We're not talking about Asians that are not in America. We're talking about the Asians that have businesses in black communities. Those are the target, yeah? Get that and yeah. So that we don't get questions on that anymore. So after that, the Asians have now come together and thought, the best thing to do is to threaten these black people that they're going to burn down their businesses. Hilarious. What a beautiful way to want to get back at people, burn their businesses. Now, you see, when black people are talking about you disrespecting them and you not being accountable for your actions, and we are still talking about the same thing, and you come out to say, you're going to burn down their stores, you are validating what they have been saying. Anyone that would be doubting that you're lying about these Asians, anyone that would actually be thinking that people are lying about Asians now can confirm that it's actually true. Whatever they were saying and whatever they're complaining about is actually true, because you have said it with your own mouth that you're going to burn down black businesses. But a way to retaliate, yeah, I think that is very thoughtful, yeah, very thoughtful, very commendable. This is exactly what these people have always been thinking about black people. This is not something that is coming out merely because of the boycott. It is something that is just how they view black people, and that is what they have been wanting to do for a very long time. So they just got, a chance and are taking advantage of the situation right now to bring out who they really are and to show the whole world that this is how they think about black people and this is what they're capable of doing. Now, it's going to be even harder for anyone to try to fight for Asian people. In the past, people have been feeling like, you cannot boycott their businesses simply because one person said whatever they said. People were empathizing, feeling sorry about that. But now that these people are also retaliating in such a manner, and I don't understand the thought process. I do not understand, because you are now just showing everyone else that everything that has been said about you people, the Asians, is actually true. Now, I am well aware that it's not all Asians, again, but this is your chance to talk to your people and bring some sense into them, because they're going to make it worse. The way that I know black people, they're not people that you threaten like that. They're not people that you play about like that. I remember the time when they threatened to boycott the businesses. I made a video here and I told Asian people, our brothers and sisters, the Asians, I told them that I know black people for a fact. They will do whatever they are promising you, they will do it. If you keep daring them, they're going to do it. They will boycott you people. And if you really think that black people need your businesses that much, try them. And you tried them, and you have seen what has happened to you people. Now, there's all this chaos, there's all this drama, and you don't know what to do. And instead of making the situation better, now you're talking about, just making it worse. Now, the Asian people that are watching me, if you're sane and you own a business, This is your chance to talk to your people. Try to bring some sense into them, drive some sense into them, because this is not headed in the right direction, and it's going to hurt you more than it will hurt black people. That is for sure. So work on that. Yeah, guys, if you're watching me for the first time, if you've never been on this channel before, my name is Furaha, and I'm so happy and glad to have you on my channel today. You are more than welcome to be around anytime that you wish. I hope to see you more. Returning subscribers, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for the support, for the warmth. You know, you people are just the best thing that ever happened to me. I did not know that you can actually build your online community of people that love you deeply, you know, people that have never seen you, never met you, never talked to you one-on-one except on these videos and on the comment section, and they love you deeply and they support you and they are willing to go distances for you. Guys, thank you so much. I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate each and every one of you for the support. Those that are sharing my videos, those that are liking it so that it goes to as many people as possible, those that are leaving super thanks, you know, you guys are just the best. Those that are actually leaving a comment, and you know, leaving a comment helps this video to reach more people, so it's not in vain that you're doing that. Thank you so much. I hope that you're keeping safe from wherever you're watching me from. I don't know what time you're watching me from. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I hope that you enjoy this day to the fullest. Bye. I will see you on my next video.